Jeff Koenig, Property Prep here, your one-stop shop for facility services and janitorial in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We've had a lot of new subscribers to our channel, and I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone who's joined us. And our last video talked about my EDC. I think everyone does an EDC video, but not everyone carries what I do. And a lot of them are focused towards people with office jobs or people who are survivalists out in the woods living off the land.
My knife.
I have a hybrid of an office job and a job in the field. I'm not out there living off the land. I guess my Cub Scout training could come in handy one day.
You know, you're the Cub Scout.
But currently live in the concrete jungle and am doing maintenance and bidding jobs in and out of a truck on a day-to-day basis. So I wanted to talk about one item which we got a lot of questions about, and that's the bandana that I carry and what do I use it for. I'm not a hipster. It does look cool. I've never had a girl come up to me because of it.
Gonna cry?
Our viewership, I believe, is 98% male, and the 2% might be my mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Today we're going to talk about bandanas, which have a rich history in our country as well as the world. And I've had this one since Cub Scouts. It actually has my name on it. So this one is an old school bandana, but well worn and very comfortable, but you can still get them on Amazon. And we'll put some links to some of my favorites. You don't have to get red. In fact, if you're in a big city, red may not be the color for you.
Bandana, possible gang wear.
I want to talk first about the history and then the uses of the bandana. So the bandana are traditionally a soft cotton. They're 22 inches by 22 inches square. That's the traditional size. There are other sizes, but they are a soft cotton. And most recently, most people will have seen them worn by people who wore a mask during the pandemic and thought that this was going to stop germs. It's not going to stop germs, but if you have to go somewhere where a mask is required, maybe you can get away with it. We usually would recommend an N95 or an N100 in any sort of job site. Or if we were working in a hospital, which would require that, we would go with a surgical mask or an N95 if that level of filtration was needed. They originally started in India as a soft tie-dyed cloth. Indian spinners were known to have the highest quality and softest yarn made of cotton, and they were very affordable because the average Indian spinner could make 100 meters per hour of the thread required to make this bandana. This bandana at that production rate would take the Indian people 24 hours to make.
Wow, that is fast.
Adopted in the 17th and 18th century by European elites and also average people, they became full outfits for elites and also an accessory for those who were not as fortunate. And this was an affordable way to dress up an outfit with normally plain clothing. People of the time didn't have the color diversity that we do now. Because of the popularity of these soft cottons, the British government in 1721 passed the Woolen Manufacturers Act of 1721, which is also known as the Second Calico Act, which banned cheap Indian cloths to try to protect the cotton industry in Britain. That's how these scarves made it to the United States. The Wool and Cotton Act of 1721 didn't affect the colonies, so that's how the Americas got these beautiful bandanas and scarves. They were very popular in the Americas and the Caribbean, and they were brought by the British East Indian Trading Company. Britain was unable to keep up with the quality and production, and not until the Industrial Revolution were they able to compete with the Indians in the quality, and that was really the democratization of clothing and when things became affordable. In the early 19th century, European chemists from England and Germany created fabric dyes, which allowed us to get these bright reds. And originally this red would have been called turkey red. This was made of 15% chrome orange paste and 2% acetic acid. I don't know what that is. It sounds sort of dangerous. If you dye stuff at home, let me know in the comments down below if you need to use gloves or not, but it doesn't sound safe. So bandanas now are seen all over the place. This is the one that I got when I was a Cub Scout, and it was a standard issue as part of our little survival items that we carried, along with our pocket knife. And we see them as accessories in places like the United States Navy, where they still wear a neckerchief as part of their uniform. Historically, we've seen bandanas on cowboys, on Mexican folk singers, on gangsters, red for the Bloods, blue for the Crips. If you're in the wrong neighborhood, be careful on your colors. We've seen it with bikers, outlaw bikers. We've seen it with Theodore Roosevelt during his campaign. Old Teddy gave out these with his initials put in them because it made him seem more manly, like me. I'm not very manly. Argentinian feminists use green, I believe, bandanas in their protests. We had rappers like Tupac, military propagandists like Rosie the Riveter. Her famous picture will show her with a bandana, so that was a sign of the female war effort. In Western films, it was also commonly seen, if you grew up in the 90s and you remember Miss Cleo, R.I.P. Miss Cleo, she always had the bandana on. It gave the gypsy sort of seance person a feeling of legitimacy. We saw it in half the cast of the Pirates of the Caribbean. We see it as tradition for hobos who are walking down the train tracks. So again, this is my first bandana. I have a bunch of them, and you want to make sure when you're buying them that you're buying 100% cotton, because the uses that we're going to talk about today are unique to cotton. There are some higher performance blends that you can do some research on, but this is going to be covering cotton, and I keep mine in my back pocket.
What did he say?
First of all, the simple thing when you pull it out of your pocket and it's summertime, you can wipe your brow. That's the most common reason to carry one of these. I clean mine often, so you don't have to worry about it. I guess there are some people who probably blew their nose in these. I think my grandpa carried I don't know if it wasn't a bandana, it was like a handkerchief, but I guess in an emergency you could blow your nose in it, but it's kind of disgusting, and I don't think people do that anymore. Sweatband. We have one of our employees who does this. He looks like a ninja. Let me see if I can do this. Look like Karate Kid. Uh-oh, I'm getting cross-eyed. How do I look? Legit, right? This could be a model if this career doesn't work out for me. I'm balding, so actually I'm not balding. I have a receding hairline, as they say. This cover up my receding hairline. I look like that Sunny guy who does the food reviews. There's my second use, is doing one of these. If you roll this up like this and you want to cool down your neck, which is something that I like to do if I'm working outside in the summer or if I'm out on a hike or something, you dip this in water and then wrap it around the back of your neck, give it a little tie, and tuck it in your shirt, or don't tuck it in. This is a good way to cool yourself down. You're going to need to change or dip this back in water every 2 hours or so to try to keep it saturated, but the cotton really stops it from chafing, and that's why I'm recommending the cotton, and also the absorption.
Cool him off.
That's another. Neck cooler is a great way. Cleaning the surface of your work area. You know, wiping your work area down is really important. We carry shop towels on our truck, but being clean is number one. If you have to clean something little up and you don't have to run back to the truck or the van, this is a great way to do it. I would recommend that as my fourth item. My fifth is to put down on your work area to protect the surface when we're putting down tools. If you're working on a temperamental surface like granite or marble or something else, you know, if you want to put your tools down and lay them out, this would be a great space to put your tools down. And I think that that's my number 5 that I would put on. If you have something hot, you can fold up the bandana. If you're putting something hot down and it's not hot enough to burn this thing, but it's hot enough for it not to be on a temperamental surface, this creates a great buffer. Seventh use, you can get yourself a bib. So if you're eating one of those snacks on the job at lunchtime, you can be the coolest cat around. If your chica made you some tortillas and you don't want to get it on your nice uniform, put yourself a bib down.
Yeah, tortillas.
You can also use it as a napkin. Make sure your stash is perfect.
Mustache Daddy.
Sunburn protection would be my eighth thing. You could put this on like this, and then put your hat over the top, yourself like a do-rag. And I'm gonna show you this with my hard hat in a second. Cut to B-roll. Do I look like a serious hombre? My ninth usage for this is in an emergency. It could be a signal. So if your car tipped over and you're way in the woods and you got a problem, if you want to signal an aircraft, it's 1, 2, 3. So people don't think that you're just drying out your clothes. So again, 1, 2, 3 is a signal for distress from an aircraft with this as your panel.
The hero of the people has arrived.
My 10th use is if you have a string line or a wire that's going across a job site and you don't want someone to get clotheslined, or you have like concrete forms and you're laying block and you know some electrician is being a payaso, you know you can tie this right on to the string, and it'll act as a marker. You could also put this on a tree or a limb to mark a designated boundary. So that's another use for this. The most important, aside from personal grooming, is probably first aid. I would say that you should have a real tourniquet on your truck, but an improvised tourniquet is probably the most common way to use this. When we're using a tourniquet, you want to go high above the wound, as high as you can, and tight. So we would tie this off as tight as we could get it. We'll try to get this in a double knot here. You're gonna want to get to a hospital fast because this is not going to work very well. We're going to use something strong as a windlass. We're going to clamp that down as tight as you possibly can. I think that actually might work.
That's the good stuff.
Another way to do it is, this could be for an eye wound. You can create an eye patch out of this relatively easily. Keep your eyeball in. There you go.
He's a pirate.
Eye patch. We can create a sling out of this for an arm that's not doing well. I don't know if I'm too fat for this. That'll get you to the hospital. Probably not the best. If you cut your finger off, God forbid, don't take the guards off your tools. You can wrap your finger in this puppy if it's clean, and then get it on ice. And you go to the hospital, wrap your stub in there. And if you're carrying two, you can put the other half on the other side. If you do cut yourself, keep your hand above your heart. You can use it as a compression or Israeli-style dressing as well by using the same style as the tourniquet, but just tying it off. So that'll put pressure on something, keep it from bleeding. Next, if you want to keep one that's in your toolbox and keep it impregnated with an oil, that would be a great thing to rub down your tools with. Croil or any sort of multi-purpose oil would be great for this. If you were in a fire, God forbid, or if you're doing something dusty that was not at work and didn't require an OSHA approved respirator, You can make yourself a bandit mask, like you're in the movies, and that might do a little bit something. I guess the people in California would have loved to have a bandana. You can dry your hands after washing them in the sink if there's no paper. And we can also use this for improvised gear repair. Let's say the strap on my tool bag broke. Tool bag video is up here. We could extend the strap, and this would allow me to reattach the shoulder strap to the bag. Thanks for learning about my bandana. I know this may have not been the most exciting video. I think the history is kind of interesting, and I do think it's something that everyone should carry in their back pocket. You don't know when you're going to need it, but it's one of those things, once you start carrying it, you're going to use it all the time. Hopefully this video gets us over 500 subscribers. I'd love the next time to announce that we're going for 1,000. It's been so meaningful that you guys have been here for this journey. If you could like, subscribe, and leave a comment, it would be incredibly helpful to us in the algorithm. And we have some really incredible videos coming up showing the start to finish of some of our projects. They just take months sometimes because these are huge scale projects and not everyone lets us film. But if you have any ideas for videos that you want to see in the interim, leave them down in the comments, and go back and watch our videos on the transformation where we had a hoarder apartment for a landlord that we worked for, and we took the rent from them from $900 to like $3,000. We'll put a link up here in the description to that, and follow us on Facebook, and we look forward to the next video. Thanks.